Fidel Castro is joining those suggesting a United States cover-up about 9/11. In a new essay, the ailing leader, who has not been seen in more than a year, says the U.S. government, and I'm quoting now, has fooled the world about the attacks. Castro writes that the Pentagon was hit by a rocket, not by an airplane. He says there were no traces of any plane passengers. Castro also says the real truth about 9/11 might never be known. And joining us now, the president of the Cuban National Assembly, Ricardo Alarcón. He's joining us from Havana. President Alarcón, thanks very much for joining us once again here in the Situation Room. I want to begin with a long article that was written by President Fidel Castro that was read on Cuban TV, which seems to suggest that there was a conspiracy, a U.S. government conspiracy on 9/11, the anniversary of which we went through yesterday, a conspiracy, and that there was no American Airlines Flight 77 that went into the Pentagon 6 years ago yesterday. He wrote this. He says, "Only a projectile could have created the geometrically round hole that the alleged plane created. We were deceived, as were the rest of the planet's inhabitants." Do you really believe that there was a conspiracy by the U.S. government on 9/11?
Well, President Castro was referring to various allegations by scientists, by even journalists, that suggest that contradictions between the data that has been published or known about those events. The fact is that a thorough investigation on that event, as far as I know, didn't take place. Immediately after 9/11, the attention was diverted towards the international arena, unfortunately.
Well, let me interrupt, President Alarcón. Let me interrupt because they did find the bodies, the DNA of the passengers from American Airlines Flight 77 at the Pentagon. They did find wreckage of that American Airlines flight. That was all widely reported, and by even suggesting that there was a projectile or some sort of bomb, it's raising questions about President Fidel Castro and his. And if you're standing by your president on this, it's raising questions, at least in the minds of a lot of people around the world, including some who are friendly with Cuba. What's going on over there?
Well, again, he was referring to comments, analysis made by others that are a fact that now are being discussed even in your country. The best answer to that would be a thorough investigation and a presentation of every detail and every individual that may have been responsible by acts or by omission of what happened.
This is going to raise questions about whether or not President Fidel Castro is really in touch with reality. But let me move on and talk about his health right now. As you know, there have been a lot of rumors over these past few weeks, especially in Miami and South Florida, that he's already dead. When was the last time you personally saw President Castro?
Well, the last time I was in touch with him personally was more than a week ago, because I traveled to Montreal and I just returned from that city. But indirectly I was in touch with him yesterday when he was working on that long article that was published today.
So you can say for sure that he is alive. Is he making progress in his recovery? Because, as you know, we haven't seen him in a long time. How's his health right now?
Well, my information is that he is doing pretty well. I am not a physician, but I understand that he's going through his recovery process in the way that is normal.
Well, why not let us see him? Why not let the world get some pictures of him? What's wrong with that?
Well, I think that's a very private matter. If you want to be photographed, or you want to appear in front of lights and so on, or if you are forced to follow a certain discipline of rehabilitation, exercising, and so on. For that situation, it's better to spend more time reading and writing as he's doing.
And we're going to